everybody, this is Yvette, your photo teacher, and in this lesson we are going to go over the remove tool. Now we want to be in the develop mode, just like we were in the crop video. So to the right of crop is remove. When you open up remove, you'll notice that there are other tools inside. So the three tools are what they call remove. For those of you who are familiar with Content Aware, it is Content Aware. We have the heal tool, and we also have the clone tool. Each of these tools have their own parameters. We can adjust sizes, use generative AI, detect objects, and let me tell you, the things that are happening right now, the updates, it is pretty phenomenal. With the heal tool, we're going to use that for helping with skin tone blemishes, and clone, we're going to be using that to literally clone an object or clone a portion of the skin. The three images that we're going to be looking at is the first one you're seeing on screen, this second one, and this third one. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to play with is the remove. We're going to try two different things. In this one right here, we're going to remove the basket. In this image right in here, we're going to remove my beautiful puppy Molly. And I just want you to see, because sometimes it works really great and sometimes it doesn't. So for this video, we're going to just go over the basics and we'll just see the results. So we go ahead and click on this tool. We can adjust the brush size if need. I tend to like to work with the smallest brush that I need. As you can see, if I increase the brush, the selection is going to be too big. And we're going to use generative AI on and detect objects. And I also am going to zoom this in. So if you have a trackpad or a way, I'm simply pinching and using the navigator to get back in. If not, then what we're going to do is in your navigator, go ahead and you can just go ahead and zoom in right in there. So from here, let me return on that remove tool, and I am going to select the basket that is unfortunately underneath her legs that I did not see. There we go. And you can see it did do some overage right in here. You can go through this if you want to be more defined. You can go through and click on subtract, excuse me, and then we can go and we can start to remove the portions that should not be included. Sometimes this helps, sometimes it doesn't. For the sake of the lesson, I'm just going to show you that I'm doing that right now. I'm just clicking and letting that, and then I'll go through her dress. So I'm just simply subtracting that. And then if you accidentally do too much, I'll show you right now. So by the way, I could have made my brush just a little bit bigger, but I do like a smaller brush than a bigger brush personally when I'm working. So right now we're still subtracting. Okay, that's pretty good. So you can see that I missed some of the basket right in here. So I'll go back to add and then reselect that. So that's how easy that is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and zoom out. And now what we're going to simply do is click on remove. And we're going to allow for the AI software to work. And I'm going to click out of here really quick. And you can kind of see it's not perfect. Now she's got an interesting something between her legs. Okay, but essentially that's going to be it. Let's show you another one. So you're going to also be doing this in your lesson. And this is again to show you sometimes things work better than others. So I'm going to go to remove. I'm going to click on my beautiful Molly. She just passed everybody. So she was a great dog I've had for 14 years. And then we'll click right in here. Make sure this is all selected. Great. Now that's selected. I'm going to click on remove, and let's let AI work. Wow, look at that. Now that did a really excellent job. really excellent job. So you can kind of see the differences in the two. I would, for this one, continue practicing if you want to try to remove it all the way. But for the lesson itself, it's just simply the trying of. So you'll have this one. Okay, so now let's talk about the next one. So as we begin, my disclaimer, please be kind. This is a young woman, and she allowed for me to take her image and also allowed for me to use this image for this lesson. So I'm going to go back to that remove tool, but before I do, one of the things I want to talk about is I like to correct images color correction first. So you can see there's a cast on here. So we're going to fix the white balance in this image, and I'm just going to simply click on the color picker and find something that's neutral. That did not work. Let's try again. Let's try the whites of her eyes. There we go. Okay, so that little micro lesson, you can see if you click on different things, it will give you a different white balance. So we're going to click on her eyes. I could have, by the way, zoomed in, would have made it a little easier. And then you can always do some modifications. So if you're somebody like me, I tend to like just a little bit of warmth. I can go in and then you can see as it starts to get too warm. Yeah, that's pretty nice right there. Okay. So from here, I can go ahead and start working. Now, Anna does have particularly quite a bit of acne. So again, for this lesson, it's not expected for you to do all of it. It's quite a bit. But let's try 50%. So 50% cleanup of her face. And what we're going to be using is we're going to be playing around with the healing brush tool and also the clone tool to kind of make this retouch happen. So I'm going to first go to the healing brush tool, and really simple information to retouch. The trick to retouching, I believe, is to make the image as big as you can, make the brush as small as you need. And from there, now I can go ahead and I can start to select this first bit of acne. And then what the software is going to do, let me zoom out a little bit. What the software is going to do is it looks at an area in the image and tries to find the best blending of pixels so that the match is the most accurate. Oopsie, let me go ahead and that navigator. And I'm gonna undo what I just did. And by the way, guys, that was Command Z to undo. And I'm going to re-click right in here. I'm going to allow for the software to work, and then I can make modifications. So I can move this around, and as you can see, as I move this around, what's happening. And I do want to try as best as I can to kind of match that. Now, I don't really love what's happening. Now, I can try to maybe feather or unfeather a little bit. I can play around with the opacity, the selected area, and the feathering. Because again, things to remember when we're retouching is to not let anybody know that you're retouched. All right, so we're going to click away and let's try something else. Let's try this one right in here. So I'm going to just do a single click and let that AI software work. Single click, let that AI software work. Single click, and you can see what's slowly happening right over here. And again, if it's something I don't like, I can go ahead and move that and it'll do a nice blend right in here. Now, what happens if we get to this area, right, and we pick, and maybe it's picking up too much. So let's play around with the clone tool, just so we can see. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you like very specifically what the clone tool is going to do. And I'm going to just select her eye. We're not going to use this as an edit, but this is just a really good example to show you like, hey, this is the clone tool. And you can see what it did. It literally will make a clone. Excuse me, everybody. Okay, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to, I'm going to click delete on the keyboard, erase that, and that's how that happens. And I'm going to find another space, and I'm going to go right over here. I'm going to clone that, and I'm going to zoom that in, excuse me, change the selection, and I want to try to find the closest match to the skin tone. Right in here, closest match to the skin tone as possible. So a lot of times when we're retouching, especially in Lightroom, some of you may be familiar with retouching in Photoshop, it's going to be about, I just don't like that at all. I'm just going to remove that. It's going to be about using the tools to your advantage. Now, I'm still going back over this one, and I don't think I like it. So just to kind of also show you, I can click right here and just remove that. And that's simply me clicking on the delete. And I'm going to try that one more time. This time, let's try with the clone tool just to see how I can do in relationship to that. And let's see. Great. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play around with the opacity just a little bit because I want to make a better blend. Because why? We don't want people to know that we're retouching. Not my favorite. Not my favorite. And that's going to be the trickier of all of them. You can kind of see I'm trying to find some matching of some things. Okay, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to go back to the clone, and I'm going to click up right in here. There we go. I think we're starting to get something to match right in there. Excuse me on that one. Actually, no, I didn't like that. So what I did right now is I did Command Z to undo. And let's click right in here on that clone. That might work. Okay, great. Let's go back to the healing and go right there, right over here. So again, just looking for 50% since this can be a fairly long edit. Just trying to get some matches in there. Okay, we'll do a little bit over here. See, I don't like that at all. I see that's the healing brush tool. So I'm going to go to the clone tool on this one. And let's see. Actually, let's do this. We're going to undo that last one. That was Command Z. I'm going to highlight right in here. I'm going to bring that. No, absolutely not. There we go. A little bit right there. Let me look at the opacity to see. So every single edit, there is always going to be some finagling that you're going to have to do. This is artistry. So back in the day, what people would do is when we had prints, we always had dust marks and things like that. So retouchers were painters and they would actually paint on prints. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and step back for a second. I'm going to go ahead and close this. And I'm going to double click to bring this back, and what we're going to do is a comparison. So if you remember in previous videos, right in here we'll do a before and after, and we can kind of see, look at that, you know, it's not perfect. She does have a really tough face. Excuse me, let me better say that. She does have a really great amount of acne in there that can make it tough, and so it does require a little bit more time. But all in all, this is a good example of the healing brush and the clone tool. All right, guys, I'm excited to see your assignments. Go ahead and practice with these images. Thanks so much.